although the big guys call it branding, and there's usually $1 billion budget attached to that, but no,
Yeah.
us small guys call it building a relationship with our customer. So yeah, and if you can do that in an accelerated time frame, then you're on a winner, because that's like essentially that's money handled for you.
So joining me on the line today, I've got Ryan Gray from Argonics. Welcome to the call, Ryan.
Thank you, David. Appreciate you having me.
More than a pleasure, but I suppose today we're going to start off with a bit about what Argonics is all about. What do you guys do?
Yeah, sure. So we really focus on getting people to say yes to things like the sale, to doing things in business a lot faster, so in a compressed time frame. So yeah, that's where we sort of focus our marketing. We are a marketing company, but yeah, our entire focus, the reason that we exist, is to get people to say yes in a very compressed time frame.
Yeah, and I suppose what's happening in the marketing sort of landscape is that people are making decisions quicker. Their expectation is people are responding quicker.
Yeah.
What do you see? Because obviously social media has had a massive impact on how people make decisions. What do you see as marketing moving forward from today?
Yeah, that's a huge question, massive. But yeah, look, I mean, it's multi-channel. It has to be. If you're not building a relationship with your audience in one way or another, across multiple channels, across your socials, across their inbox, across like just having that relationship with them, it's you're kind of losing out. The winners in marketing going forward are the ones who are going, no, look, I realize that my customer needs to know about me. They have to see me. They have to understand who we are, and and the business as well, like, so that there is both a personality and a brand, I guess. Although the big guys call it branding, and there's usually $1 billion budget attached to that, but no, us small guys call it building a relationship with our customer. So yeah, and if you can do that in an accelerated time frame, then you're on a winner, because that's like essentially that's money handled for you. And that's because if you can take care of your sales, if you can take care of your marketing, then there's a certain level of, hey, I'm okay now, everything's sorted.
So look, traditional marketing channels used to be, maybe there was 3 or 4. You'd use the telephone, you'd use the newspaper, you'd use the yellow pages, right? And as we've moved into this world of so many communication channels, there's literally hundreds of channels that people are utilizing. How do you identify which channels people should be using?
Yeah, sure. Where does your customer hang out? That's it. That's literally the only question you have to ask. Are they there using it?
Yeah, right.
And look, that answer is like, it's not always easy to I guess come across, because even within a particular customer base, there's certain people who are interested, and will consume content on LinkedIn. Some will look at your Facebooks and your TikToks and your your YouTubes and those kinds of things, and then some are a bit more traditional, and they like their email, and they like. I was trying to reach out to someone the other day to connect with someone, and he wouldn't respond, and then I sent him an email, and I got an email back right away and said, no, it's good, it's all good. Yeah, no, I'm keen, thanks. And it's like, okay, well that's his preferred method of communication. So if you're covering them all, you're doing okay.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's go backwards. You've been doing this for a while. How many years you've been in the marketing game for?
Almost 2 decades now. So yeah, it'll be 18 years this year, which is long time, and kind of seen that happen. Sort of back in the days when you put a website live and threw up a couple of listings on some directories, and you were suddenly on Google and getting traffic, through to now where you have to fight tooth and nail, and but that's the thing, like there's a strategy to it, and if you tap into the strategies that are working for the successful people and business people, then you're on a winner. It makes life very easy.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell me, what made you choose marketing as a skill to evolve and to live in?
Yeah, sure. I really enjoy helping people make money. I don't know, like there's an element of that is helping them achieve their life goals and their life dreams. So yeah, that's really, I guess, why I got into it. And then it kind of evolved, and I realized, okay, well, it's actually apparently not that easy for everyone to do. I mean, I find it really easy, I guess, but then I guess I've been in this space for a while now. So yeah, it's and then just being able to kind of gift those strategies to people, show them what works, and then accelerate the process that would otherwise take years or even decades. So yeah.
Interesting, because I find, we've been working with people in business for years, like probably as long as you, and inevitably marketing's always seems to get the short straw in terms of business plan. There's a marketing component, but it's pretty light on. It's usually, yes, we should spend some money on marketing, and it's never really clear or comprehensive. And I'm always a big believer that you need to probably spend as much, if not more effort, getting people in the door as you do delivering your product or service.
Yes.
And for me, it's always been very frustrating, because for most people, if I ask the question, what is your marketing budget? You would have heard, the two most common answers are what marketing budget or as little as possible. Or the third one is, I think it should be about 8% of revenue or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
and it's all very textbook. And it's like, well, I think if you knew that your marketing was working, and this is one of the things I think that's changed, especially with the technology, is we can measure everything.
Yeah.
And so if you know you're getting $2 for every buck I give you, all of a sudden my marketing philosophy changes somewhat.
It does. And I love that you point that out, because a lot of people don't really have a money machine, because once you figure that out, and it's not that far off, it's a fairly simple formula. It's just, if you do the easy bits consistently, then for every dollar you put in, you can be pulling out $2, $3, $5, $10, $100, whatever that return on investment is. And you start going, oh, how much can I throw at this now? I really want to, the conversation changes from, oh, I don't have a marketing budget, to, how much do I want to make this year?
Yeah. And usually, it's, instead of the least amount possible, it's the most amount possible.
Yeah.
And the only real constraint is what the capacity of the business is to deliver.
Yes, absolutely.
But good problem to have, right?
It is. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So fantastic. So in terms of marketing, obviously there's a lot of people in that space now because of the number of channels and the complexity. What makes you guys different?
Yeah, sure. So look, there's a lot of people, and anyone with a laptop these days, can say, hey, I'm a digital marketer. When I guess there's a heck of a lot more to it than that. A lot of people don't understand the principles of building a relationship. So just getting someone to put their hand up from a Facebook ad and say, yes, I'm interested, does not actually qualify as an interested lead. It just doesn't. And, the amount of companies that have come to us who have said, oh, look, we are getting leads, but our campaigns aren't working, or the leads are junk, or whatever their situation is. It's like, okay, so how do we get that personality? How do we get your business, personality, the brand, in front of people in a condensed time frame? And so that's, I guess, where the content comes in, and that's where we specialize. And there's probably only a handful of people who even, I guess, understand the concept, let alone are able to deliver at scale. So it's a very, very important, very specific, I guess, way to accelerate the sales. But you can take a 6-month sales cycle. Like, for example, if we had a client who came to us and they said, oh, look, my sales cycle is 6 months, and I'm like, well, what does that look like? They're like, oh, well, I call them every month for 6 months. It's like, well, okay, well, why don't we try and condense that into a week? And they're like, impossible, it can't be done. Right. And so we actually provided more content, more touch points, more engagement over the space of a week. And they essentially, these guys are saying yes inside of a couple of weeks, down from 6 months. And it's like, well, it definitely 100% is possible, because the sales cycle is only 4 hours. They were just taking 6 months to do it. So we were delivering their 4-hour sales cycle in the space of a week, or 2 weeks in this case.
Right. So it sounds like you moved from actual long time to deliverables.
Yes.
So obviously there's trigger points that people need, there's almost like a maze that people need to navigate through to get to the buying sort of end, right?
Yeah.
And part of that is credibility, part of that is understanding the product mix, part of that is understanding how it's delivered, all those sorts of things, yeah?
Definitely. And being able to trust you, those sorts of things are all really critical for someone who's making a buying decision, to be able to buy. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So here's an interesting question. You've been in business for nearly 2 decades, as you said. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Make time your friend. I was thinking about this, and who has given me that best piece of advice. And I definitely think that if you invest in things that are going to pay off over the long term, like most people, I used to have a very short and narrow window of, hey, look, I just want to put out an ad, I want to get paid immediately, and I want to, I just need it now. And like that's fine, but if I actually invested into some marketing that happened once and then paid me forever, then that's substantially better than just chucking out an ad and hoping for the best and trying to scoop the couple of percent of people who are who are available now. So yeah, look, if you're looking at at doing something that's a bit more long term, because I mean we're all going to turn up a year from now,
Yeah.
in some state. It's build the asset now,
Yeah.
so that we're in a much better position then, as opposed to just kind of be having those wheels turning. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the metaphor I use is you can drive a car really inefficiently by hitting the accelerator and the brake full pelt. And although it might get you there faster, but it does wear out the car somewhat.
Yeah,
Stress and anxiety.
It does.
The smart way to drive a car is to ease on the accelerator, ease on the brake. I think in business, people do the same. They have knee-jerk reactions to what's going on in their marketplace, which is not strategic, it's reactionary. And not only can it be quite exhausting, but it's very inefficient.
Yeah.
And I think what you're describing here is, I encourage people to have a very big long-term picture of the business. And here's a weird question. I use this a lot is, what will my business look like when it's finished?
Yeah. Wow.
People struggle with that. They go, what do you mean finished? I just started, or I've got plenty of years left in me. And that's not the point. The point is go to a builder and ask them to start building a house without a plan, right?
Yeah. 100%.
It's illegal, right? So
yeah, it is.
So we can't do that. So how many floors do you want? Don't worry, just start.
Yeah. and yet, as business owners, like that's what we do on an almost daily basis sometimes.
Right. Yeah, we're very much reactionary. So I think that's a great piece of advice. Let me ask you, any books or podcasts that inspire you, things that you use to sort of keep you focused and keep you sort of thinking forward?
Cool. All right. So the biggest game changer for me was what was it called? The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Okay. That about the financial thermostat and kind of shifting that, that definitely put me into a new gear and has increased my my thermostat. Because it's the same thing. If someone said to you, hey, look, you're making 100 grand this year, that's what you're making. For some people, they're like, wow, that'd be great. Others would be like looking for a rope in a tree. Like it's just that same kind of thermostat is, or that same number can be wildly different to different people. So like if you said to a billionaire you're making 100 grand, that's it, they'd just be done. They'd be no, I'm out. But if you said to like someone starting off in business, who's broke daily, that they're going to be making 100 grand. So yeah, look, I think that having and being intentional about increasing your financial thermostat was definitely key for me. Yeah,
it is interesting because we talk about self-limiting beliefs, and I think I remember this story, and I can't remember the exact number, but it was a story about Donald Trump walking down the street. And he was looking at this beggar on the street who had no money, and he pointed to this beggar and he said to the guy he was with, he goes, that guy's $10 million better off than I am.
Yes.
And it was just all about perspective, right?
Yeah, because he was in so much debt. Yeah.
Exactly. And the difference was really, one guy's happy being $10 million in debt, the other guy's sitting there saying, I got no money.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of what sort of how you see the world. So interesting distinction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Look, one last question for you, Ryan. I'm conscious of time. Advice to others in business right now. Obviously, the economy's gone through some great, significant changes over the past few years. What advice are you giving to people in terms of what they should be doing with their business moving forward?
Start early. Start building content and assets, not just like any kind of content. Start using the content and leverage around, say, your social platforms, around your systems and marketing systems, rather than, I guess, just throwing money at ads. Like, because throwing money at ads is good. You like at some point, if you want to scale, you do have to do that. But if that's all you're doing, then you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Now, it's been a couple of market downturns that we've been through now, through the GFC and COVID and that kind of thing. We actually doubled our marketing budgets and efforts in that, like through those times. So as soon as things start looking a bit hairy or headed for disaster, double down on customer service and increase your marketing budgets, because and look, we did that. We actually grew through both of those, and it was a phenomenal experience. And the clients that I saw who followed that same advice, they actually grew as well. So yeah, look, start now, invest, and then a year from now, no matter what happens, you'll be in a much better position with strong relationships with your clients. So
yeah, fantastic. I mean, it's interesting you say that, because it's the old buy low, sell high strategy for share market. And I think when there is all this external fear and news being sort of cast, the cost of marketing actually goes down.
That's amazing. It's phenomenal. It's a huge opportunity.
Like bargain bonanza on ad spend, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So it's great advice, and I think you have to be ready to do that, and that just means having some sort of substance in your business. And the other thing is having that war chest. I think a lot of people suffered the pain of not having enough buffer in the account when it came to the COVID experience, and even with the GFC. They're the ones that got hit the hardest, I think. So some really, really good ideas there. So, Ryan, look, I really want to thank you for your time. I'm mindful that we're meant to be going for 10 minutes. I think we've gone over already, but it's been great just to hear what your view is on the market. So thank you.
Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate the opportunity.